What's up, everybody? Week 18 in the NFL schedule. Sunday's games, we're going to touch on Arizona, 14.5-point underdogs in San Fran to face the Niners. 39.5 is the over-under in this game. Both teams playing their third-string quarterbacks, Purdy versus Blau. In this game, Cards are 5-0-1 against spread in San Fran. Road teams 4-1-1 against the spread. Cardinals are 7-2-1 against spread their last 10 games versus the Niners. Underdogs 6-2-1 against spread their last 9 meetings. I like a 28-14, 28-17 outcome for San Fran. A lot of these games I'll be keeping an eye on as to how long the starters actually do play. I'll give out the playoff scenarios in a minute. Tampa Bay 4-point road dogs in Atlanta to face the Falcons, over under 40.5 on this one. Bucks have won 5 straight versus Atlanta. The over's 5-1 in Atlanta the last 6 meetings between these two. The over 7-2 the last 9 meetings overall. Tampa are 1-5 against spread the last 6 games overall. 11 of the Bucks' last 16 games have gone under the total. Tampa Bay are 0-5 against spread on the road. Bucks are 6-1 straight up versus the NFC South. Falcons are 2-8 against spread their last 10 overall. Atlanta are 1-4 straight up their last 5. Falcons are 1-4 against spread their last 5 home games. Atlanta are 1-5 straight up versus the NFC South, and the Bucks will start all of their starters. Like I said with the San Fran game, we'll see how long that lasts in that one. New England plus 7.5 in Buffalo to face the Bills, over under 43.5 on that one. Hopefully Hamlin, the mentality of the Bills is going to be huge in this one. All the positive progress, though, this week is just absolutely incredible and great news. And hopefully that progress is nothing but positive until he's fully 100% and can resume a normal life, be it in the NFL or outside the NFL. Hopefully he has nothing but good things ahead of him. New England 1-4 against spread versus Buffalo. Patriots are 16-5 against spread in Buffalo. Road teams 27-2 against spread. New England are 1-5 against spread their last 6 overall. 2-4 straight up their last 6. Pats are 16-3 straight up their last 19 games in Buffalo. Bills are 3-6 against spread their last 9 overall and have won 6 straight games. Buffalo are 10-1 straight up their last 11 at home. I think this comes down to the mentality of the Buffalo Bills. I like the Bills to win this one 30-17, 27-14, something along those lines. New York Jets, 3-point dogs in Miami to face the Dolphins, over under 37 on this one. Jets are 1-4-1 against spread in Miami, 2-7-1 against spread versus Miami. New York are 1-4 against spread and 0-5 straight up their last 5 games overall. Jets are 0-6 straight up in Miami. Dolphins are 0-5 straight up their last 5 games overall. Miami are 5-1 against spread versus the AFC East. Skylar Thompson, he will be the Dolphins' starting quarterback on Sunday. This game scares me. Jets, they're out. I think the Dolphins, they have more weapons. I'm going to go Miami to win this one 27-20, 24-17, something like that. Minnesota, Chicago. Vikings, 7-point road favorites, over under 42.5 on this one. The under 7-1 the last 8 meetings in Chicago. The road team's 4-1 against spread. Vikings are 5-14 against spread in Chicago. Many are 1-4 against spread their last 5 and 11-3 their last 14 straight up. Vikings are 4-2 against spread and 4-1 straight up versus Chicago. Bears are 1-6 against spread their last 7 overall and have lost 9 games in a row. And if they lose and Houston wins, well, the Bears get the number 1 overall draft pick. Chicago's lost 6 in a row at home. Bears are 1-9 against spread versus the NFC North. No Justin Fields in this one. Nathan Peterman, he'll be starting at QB for Chicago. They're really hoping Houston can pull off a win. I believe they play Indy this Sunday. That game will be coming up in a second. But yeah, I like Minnesota 2014, 24-17, something like that in that game. All right, and Houston in Indianapolis, Colts 2.5-point home favorites, over under 37.5 on this one. Texans loss equals first overall pick in the draft. No matter what the Bears do, Texans control their own fate on the worst end of the stick, if you want to call it that. Houston 2-7 against spread versus Indy. Road teams 12-4-2 against spread the last 18 meetings. Did I do that right? 12 plus 6. Yep. Texans are 3-17 straight up in Indianapolis. Take the Colts and hold your breath if you're desperate enough to play this game. Look for teams like Philly, Dallas, Tampa, San Fran, Cincy, Buffalo, KC to get out to big leads in this one. Pull their starters out and look to jump on some of those underdogs in those situations. Like if Philly gets out to a big lead and starts to pull their starters, look for Dallas and San Fran to start to pull their starters too. So the first sign Philly's getting out to a big lead, just when you think or hear they're starting to pull their starters, maybe jump on the dog to have a bit of a comeback in the second half or the fourth quarter and sort of cover an inflated spread that you might be getting at the time because of the big leads. And if Philly jumps out that lead, look for Dallas and San Fran, who are affected by that as well, to start pulling their starters as well. So there's a few teams you can look out for this Sunday to really take advantage of the in-game play, especially on week 18 with the starters maybe playing, because teams might have something to play for at the start of the game, but maybe not in the end. And the reason why is I will break that down. Playoff scenarios. KC clinched with their win today. Jacksonville clinched with their win today. Miami clinched wildcard berth with a win and a Patriots loss. New England wildcard berth with a win, or if Miami and Pittsburgh and Tennessee all lose. Tennessee lost today, so that is one of the three already checked off that list. Pittsburgh wildcard berth with a win and a New England loss and a Miami loss. Philadelphia number 1 seed win, or a Dallas and San Fran both lose. Either scenario puts the Eagles in the number 1 seed. San Fran number 1 seed with a win and an Eagles loss. Dallas gets the division with a win and a Philly loss combo. Dallas number 1 overall with a win and both San Fran and Philly losing. Detroit gets a wild card with a win and a Seattle loss. Green Bay gets a wild card with a win. They control their own fate. Seattle gets a wild card with a win and a Green Bay loss. Cleveland in Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. Mike Tomlin, oh my goodness, man. He's gonna be in the playoffs. I think Pittsburgh is gonna win. And, well, maybe they might not get in the playoffs because I think Miami's gonna win too. So, whatever, it is what it is. But Pittsburgh is not gonna have a losing season under Mike Tomlin. That streak will carry on to 16 seasons in a row, or whatever that number is. I know it's around there. Don't hate on me if I am off, because I'm not saying I am dead on it. Dogs 4-1 against spread. The home team 7-3 against spread the last 10 meetings. Browns are 1-4 against spread in Pittsburgh and 1-18 straight up their last 19 games in Pittsburgh. Cleveland are 2-5 against spread versus the Steelers. Browns are 4-2 straight up and against spread their last 6 games overall. Cleveland are 4-1 against spread versus the AFC North. Steelers are 5-1 against spread and straight up their last 6 overall. I like the Steelers to win this game. I like them to win this close division battle by a field goal and something along the lines of 21-17, 22-19, 21-18, some stupid number. It might even be lower than that. It wouldn't surprise me if it was like a 15-14 type game either. I think this game will most likely be under the number, but it might just squeak over if it's 22-19. So I'm leaning to the under on that game, as well as the Steelers. Baltimore 9-point dogs in Cincy to face the Bengals, who are part of that tragic Bills game last week as well. And their mentality will be a big question in this one, as well as also how many of their starters play, how long do the starters play. There's a lot of games to keep an eye on. That's why I'll be doing a lot of my plays as in-game, but I will be jumping on quite a few dogs right from the get-go as well this week. And Baltimore will be one of the dogs I'll be taking on the spread, but not on the money line. Road team 6-2 against spread. Baltimore's 3-7 against spread versus the Bengals. Ravens are 2-5 against spread their last 7 overall. And they're 7-3 straight up. Their last 10 are the Ravens. Under has hit in 5 straight games for Baltimore. 13 of the Ravens' last 19 road games have gone under the total. Baltimore are 1-6 against spread versus the AFC North. Bengals are 7-0 against spread their last 7 overall, and they're 7-0 straight up over that same span. Cincy are 5-0 against spread at home. Bengals are 12-5 straight up at home versus Baltimore. No Lamar Jackson again for the Ravens. I don't know what to make of this game, but I don't see Cincy going all out. I don't see them playing their starters the whole game, so I think there is a good chance for a backdoor cover in this game, and that is the reason why I will be taking the Ravens. +9 is a big number, especially when I think it's going to be more of a running game from both sides. Division rival. This division always plays tight, low-scoring games. I like this 23-21 for Cincinnati. 23-20, something like that. The Bengals pull off a really tight game, but do get the victory because they are the better team on the day with no Lamar Jackson in the lineup. Carolina, 3.5-point dogs in New Orleans to face the Saints. Over under 42 on this one. Over is 8-1 the last 9 meetings. Carolina's 4-1 against spread in New Orleans and 7-3 against spread their last 10 versus the Saints. Dogs 13-4 against spread the last 17 meetings. Carolina are 5-2 against spread their last 7 games overall. Panthers are 1-10, straight up their last 11 games on the road. Saints are 4-2 straight up and against spread their last 6 overall. New Orleans are 1-4 against spread versus the NFC South. Saints are 7-1 straight up their last 8 games playing as a favorite. I don't know what to make of this game. I'll pick 21-20 as the final score. Pick your team. So I guess that means I'll take Carolina on the spreads, taking the point, getting the points there. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. I'm not going to put my real money on that game though. Dallas, 7-point favorites in Washington to face the Commanders. Over under 40 on this one. Favorites 6-2 against spread. Dallas are 6-2 against spread in Washington and their last 8 versus Washington. Home team 7-3 against spread. Cowboys are 10-3 straight up versus the Commanders. Boys are 10-5 against spread their last 15 overall, and the Cowboys are 6-1 straight up their last 7 games. Boys are 7-2 straight up in Washington. Dallas is going to be scoreboard watching, and this is another game that's hard to really predict. Like Dallas 7 at the start sounds great to me, but then again, Dallas gets out to a big lead, see Philly's winning, pulls their starters because they realize that Philly's going to clinch the number 1 seed. This game means nothing. Washington gets a couple late touchdowns, backdoor cover to cover the spread, and by that time, if Dallas is up by 10, the spread probably isn't a -7. It's probably more like a -12, -11.5 or something, and you can really jump on Washington for that backdoor cover and make yourself a little more comfortable with the number you're getting as well. That's kind of how I'm going to be playing a lot of these games, maybe sprinkle a bit on the dog or maybe a bit on the favorite, and then sort of tease it the opposite way as the game unfolds. Los Angeles Chargers, 3-point dogs in Denver that face the Broncos. Over under set at 40 on this one. Home team's 5-1 against spread. LA Chargers are 1-4-1 against spread in Denver. Underdogs 5-2 against spread. LA are 6-2-1 against spread their last 9 overall. Chargers are 6-12 straight up versus Denver and 1-8 straight up in Denver. Broncos are 1-7 straight up their last 8 overall. Denver's 1-4 straight up their last 5 home games. Denver's a garbage team. Chargers, once again, how hard are you going to play your starters? Herbert's good to go from what I'm hearing. He's going to play tomorrow. I'll roll with LA because they are the better team. Denver is horrendous. I think this could be like a 27-14 type game. I think the Chargers win and cover this one. I think this is more than a field goal game for sure. LA Rams, 6-point dogs in Seattle to face the Seahawks. Over under 41.5 on this one. Rams are 7-1 against spread versus the Hawks and 8-3 straight up their last 11 in Seattle versus Seattle. Fav is 5-2 against spread. The home team's 5-2 against spread. LA are 5-13 straight up in Seattle. Seattle's 1-6 against spread their last 7 games overall. I don't like how this game's set up, how that Detroit Green Bay game is after. I'm going to roll with Seattle. I don't think they'll cover 6 points, though. I'm going to pick the Rams. I'm going to sprinkle a bit on the Rams on the spread, and Seahawks, maybe parlay them with somebody else along the way. Next up, Detroit Lions, 5-point dogs in Green Bay to face the Packers. Win and you're in for the Packers. Over under 49. Wouldn't the Lions love to spoil their division rival, one of their most hated rivals in the NFL? Home team 6-0 against spread. The Dogs 6-2 against the spread. Lions are 9-2 against spread. Their last 11 versus the Packers. Detroit are 8-1 against spread. Their last 9 games overall. Lions are 3-13-1 straight up their last 17 games on the road. Detroit are 3-17 straight up in Green Bay. Will this game mean anything to the Lions by the time it tips off? Depending on that Seattle game, how it goes. And so you really got to sit on this game and wait. Unless you really think this number is too big like I do, I'm going to be playing the Lions. Put a little sprinkle on them at +5. And hope that Seattle outcome doesn't affect the Detroit-Green Bay game that is the Sunday nighter now. So I'm going to lean Green Bay. No, you know what? I'm going to pick Detroit as my upset victory this week. I'm going to sprinkle a couple bucks on the Detroit Lions Sunday Night Football to spoil Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers' playoff hopes and to make that little whole NFL story, NFL films go fucking just like Cinderella wanted it to. Last game on the schedule this week. You know I saved the best team till the last. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Philly hosting the New York fuck you Giants. +16 are the G-Men in Philly. Over under at 42 on this one. Giants are 4-1 against spread in Philadelphia. The under is 9-3 the last 12 meetings in Philly. Giants are 5-1 their last against spread, their last 6 overall. New York are 2-10 straight up versus the Eagles and 0-8 straight up their last 8 games in Philadelphia. Giants are 1-6-1 straight up their last 8 versus the NFC East. Eagles are 3-6 against spread, their last 9 overall. Giants are sitting all their key players. The Eagles are playing. Hurts is starting the game. And once again, the Eagles should get out to an early lead against the Giants. And I don't even remember who the fuck they're starting at quarterback in this one. But if that happens, then you can take Hurts out, rest him for an extra week and a half, get a bit of that rust out in the first quarter, first half, whatever the case may be, and just be safe. I know if I'm a player, I'm wanting to play that whole fucking game too, so I totally get it. I fight with myself on which way I go. I definitely think the starter should play some of the games, even if it is the last game, even if it is a meaningless game, because you want to get a few reps in at game speed against opposition who's really trying to fucking hit you and go all out, because practice you're really not. You're going all out and hitting your teammates, but you ain't giving that extra little fucking oomph in your hits, you know what I mean? So I'm going to pick the Eagles to win this game, but obviously that spread, there will be no value, so I'll be looking for maybe Hurts to toss a TD, maybe 2 TDs before he leaves, or maybe look at his rushing TD props, something like that. Maybe A.J. Brown, but I'd be looking more at the milestones to tease them numbers down to like 25s or something like that and pair a couple of them together. But otherwise, you're going to have to parlay a few teams together because I don't know about that spread. I could see this game being 35-10. 30-7 or something like that, but I don't like betting them big double-digit spreads, even when I think the game is going to be a blowout. Good luck with all your picks this week. Peace.